अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our Iskcon official YouTube channel. Today I am going to discuss 14th chapter Srimad Bhagavad 5th canto. As we have discussed in 13th chapter, Jada gives an allegory. This material world is compared as a forest. In Sanskrit it is called Bhavatavi. Bhavatavi. So, what is the meaning that is described in this chapter? The direct meaning of the forest of material existence is given in this chapter. Merchants sometimes enter the forest to collect many rare things and sell them at a good profit in the city. But the forest path is always bedecked with dangers. When the pure soul wants to give up the Lord's service to enjoy the material world, Krishna certainly gives him a chance to enter the material world. As stated in the Prema Vivarta, Krishna Bahir Mukha Haya Bhagavancha Gare Nikatastha Maya Dare Jhapatya Dare. This is the reason for the pure spirit soul falls down to the material world. Due to his activities under the influence of the three modes of matter nature, the living entity takes different positions in different species. Sometimes he is a demigod in the heaven planets, and sometimes he a most insignificant creature in the lower planetary systems. In this regard, Sri Narottam Das Thakur says, Nana Joni Sada Pire, Kadarja Bhakyana Kare, Tar Janma Adapate Jai. Those who think Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Sakala, Vishwara Bhanda, this Veda, there is different kandas, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, etc. These are all parts of poison. But one takes it as a nectar. So he moves in this material world, and just like hog, it eats stool and it thinks it very nice nectar. It thinks stool as nectar. Similarly, our case, the living entity passes through various species. Kadarja Bhakhyana Kare means he is obliged to eat and enjoy abominable things. Tar Janma Adapata Jai. In this way, the whole life is spoiled. Without the protection of an all-merciful Vaishnava, the conditioned soul cannot get out of the clutches of Maya. Those who have come to this Krishna consciousness, they are very fortunate. By the mercy of a Vaishnava, then they have come to this path. Otherwise, it's not possible. They are wandering in this forest of material world. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Manasastan Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karsati. The living entity begins material life with his mind and the five knowledge acquiring senses, and with this he struggles for existence within the material world. These senses are compared to rogues and thieves within the forest. They take away man's knowledge and place him in a network of nations. The senses are like rogues and thieves that plunder spiritual knowledge. Over and above this, there are family members, wife and children who are exactly like ferocious animals in the forest. The business of such ferocious animals is to eat a man's flesh, and the living entity allows himself to be attacked by jackals and foxes, that is wife and children, and thus his real spiritual life is finished. In the forest, a material life, everyone is envious like mosquitoes, and rats and mice are always creating disturbances, that is envious persons. The result is that the living entity in the material world is always plundered and beaten by many living entities. Nonetheless, despite these disturbances, he doesn't want to give up his family life, and he continues his fruitive activities in an attempt to become happy in the future. Hope against hope. He thus becomes more and more entangled in the results of karma, and thus is forced to act impiously. His witnesses are the sun during the day and the moon during the night. The demigods also witness, but the conditioned soul thinks that his attempts at sense gratification are not being witnessed by anyone. Uh, So sometimes when he is detected, he temporarily renounces everything, but due to his great attachment for the body, his renunciation is given up before he can attain perfection. That is described in the third chapter also. Arjuna says, why people do these sinful activities? And that is answered by the Lord also. In this material world, there are many envious people, and there is the tax exacting government, which is compared to an owl, and there are invisible crickets that create unbearable sounds. The conditioned soul is certainly greatly harassed by the agents of material nature, but his intelligence is lost due to undesirable association, asatsanga. That is very important. Hmm. In an attempt to gain relief from the disturbances of material existence, he falls victim to so-called yogis, sadhus, and incarnations who can display some magic but who do not understand devotional service. Eh? So sometimes the conditioned soul is bereft of all money and consequently he becomes unkind to his family members. In this material world, there is not a pinch of actual happiness for which the conditioned soul is longing life after life from immemorial. Time immemorial, we have been dwelling in this material world. The government officials are like carnivorous rakshasas who exact heavy taxes for the maintenance of the government. The hard-working conditioned soul is very saddened due to these heavy taxes. There is a taxation rule actually in Manu Samhita that is stated one sixth of citizens' income should go to the king. That is there, and they were many benevolent kings. They utilize these taxes for the welfare of the citizens. So anyway, the path of fruitful activities leads to difficult mountains, and sometimes the conditioned soul wants to cross these mountains, but he is never successful, and consequently he becomes more and more aggrieved and disappointed. So becoming materially and financially embarrassed, the conditioned soul unnecessarily chastises his family. In the material condition, there are four principal needs, out of which sleep is compared to python. Ahar, nidra, bhai, maithuna. These are the four principal needs. So sleep is compared to a python. When I sleep, the conditioned soul completely forgets his real existence, and in the sleep he doesn't feel the tribulations of material life. Sometimes being in need of money, the conditioned soul steals and cheats, although he may apparently be associated with devotees or spiritual advancement. We find in these institutions also people steal. Uh, this material world is simply an embarrassment and is composed of tribulations presented as happiness, distress, attachment, enmity, and envy. On the whole, he is simply full of tribulations and misery. When a person loses his intelligence due to the attachment of wife and sex, his entire consciousness becomes polluted. He does only think of the association of women. The time factor, which is like a serpent, takes away everyone's life, including that of Lord Brahma's and the insignificant ant. Everyone is subject to time factor. But those who hear about the topics of the Lord, their time couldn't take away their life. Uh, we have discussed in second canto, third chapter, stated by Sonal Rusi. And in this way, including her. And sometimes the conditioned soul tries to save himself from inexorable time and thus takes shelter of some bogus savior. Unfortunately, the bogus savior cannot even save himself. How then can he protect others? The bogus saviors do not care for bona fide knowledge received from qualified brahmanas and Vedic sources. Their only business is indulging in sex and recommending sexual freedom even for widows. You see, they are called as reformers. Thus, they are like monkeys in the forest. So Sukadeva Goswami thus explains the material forest and its difficult path to Maharaj Parikshit. Hmm. So in 42 to 46, these 5 verses will be a glorification of Bharat by sages, how he is glorified. So in verse 42 it is stated, having summarized the teachings of Jada Bharat, Sukadeva Goswami said, my dear King Parikshit, the path indicated by Jada Bharat is like the path followed by Garuda, the carrier of the Lord. And ordinary kings are just like flies. Flies can't follow the path of Garuda, and to date, none of the great kings and victorious leaders could follow this path of devotional service, not even mentally. What to speak of actually, even mentally also they could compare themselves. Sivasiddha Swami in his purport says, Tadevam Bharatoktim Vyakhya Tacharita Sangraha Shlokam Aha. In this way, quoting Bharat Maharaj, and they speak in this way, they glorify Bharat Maharaj. In 43 it is stated, very important verse, Jodustejan Dar Sudan Suhud Rajyam Hrudi Susa Jaho Jubev Madavat Uttama Slokalarasa. While in the prime of life, the great Maharaj Bharat gave up everything because he was fond of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Uttam Sloka. He gave up his beautiful wife, nice children, great friends, and an enormous empire. Although these things were very difficult to give up, Maharaj Bharat was so exalted that he gave them up, just as one gives up stool after evacuating. Such was the greatness of His Majesty. So in the purport it is stated that every important individual within this material world must have heard of Krishna, especially at the present moment, due to the Krishna conscious moment. Yeah. Even people who do not like us and want to suppress the movement are also somehow or other chanting Hare Krishna. They say the Hare Krishna people should be chastised. Yeah. The such foolish people do not realize the true value of this movement, but the mere fact that they want to criticize it gives them a chance to chant Hare Krishna, and this is its success. Hare Krishna, the chant Hare Krishna. So, in the verse 45 it is stated that even though in the body of a deer, Maharaj Bharat didn't forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead, therefore when he was giving up the body of a deer, he loudly uttered the following prayers. Jagyaya Dharmapataye Vidinai Punaya Jogaya Sankhya Sirase Prakriti Swaraya Narayanaya Hare Namai Iti Udaram Hasyam Mraga Tam Api Jaha Samuda Jahara. That means the Supreme Personality of Godhead is sacrifice, personified. He gives the results of ritualistic activity. He is the protector of religious systems, the personification of mystic yoga, the source of all knowledge, the controller of the entire creation, and the super soul of every living entity. He is beautiful and attractive. I am quitting this body, offering obeisances unto him, and hoping that I may perpetually engage in his transcendental loving service. Uttering this, Maharaj Bharat left his body while in the body of a deer. So anyway, thank you very much for listening to. Of course, I will say just this point. What will you get by hearing this about Jada Bharat, Phadashruti, that described in 46, verse 46? Devotees interested in hearing and chanting Shravan Kirtan regularly discuss the pure characteristics of Bharat Maharaj and praises his activities. If one submissively hears and chants about the all auspicious Maharaj Bharat, one's lifespan and material opulences certainly increase. One can become very famous and easily attain promotion to the heavenly planets or attain liberation by merging into the existence of the Lord. Whatever one desires can be attained simply by hearing, chanting and glorifying the activities of Maharaj Bharat. So in this way, we heard about Maharaj Bharat. So thank you very much for listening to this lecture. Please don't forget to subscribe, share and like our channel and get the blessings of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.